Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76, Science and Technology. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel if you want to donate to the channel or put something in the tip jar. That information is below. Please like and share, and also subscribe if you're new. And also, please consider joining the Big Words LLC Newsletter. In addition to being a YouTube content creator, I am also a writer who is trying to finalize a two-part book project, which I'm kind of at the last stage right now, the editing phase, and that's going to be a little bit tricky. In this video, or this offering, because this is I'll call it a BGS style voiceover. I'm gonna blend a bunch of different things together. First of all, I want to thank Nustal TV for hosting me on Sunday. I'm gonna leave the link to that discussion in the description box below. I think that was powerful because Art is an educator himself, and I think that scientists like myself and Dr. Nicole Ali and others who I'm not familiar with, we need a little more spotlight. And one of the things we talked about in that stream, I think I might have made the comment, is that imaging and messaging are intentional and deliberate. And so I think that it's not a head scratcher that you don't see many black scientists in mainstream media and in pop culture, and you rarely see black male scientists. So I think that's the power in what Art did in using his platform to give me some exposure and showcase me. One of the reasons I started this channel was because I felt like there was more that I could be doing, and there's more that I could contribute besides registering chemicals. That's what I do right now for my 9 to 5. I register a specific chemical class every day. It's important work. I can't get into detail about that right now because I still work in that office and I still work on those projects, but it's important work. It's important work. But I think that part of my role in this world is being visible as a black male scientist. And as I told Art and the folks watching the show here in the Washington, D.C. area, a lot of other black professionals who are non-scientists in the federal government, they tell me, and even many of the communities in the communities where I've done career days over in Prince George's County before the world event, the pandemic, I'll just say the pandemic. I don't think YouTube will strike this for saying that, but in many of those communities, when I would do career days, they would tell me, "You're the first black scientist that I've ever met," and that's consistent with what I know, but yet and still, it's still strange to hear that. That means that large sums of people from the black community in the United States, they don't know any scientists, and so they probably would not know where to. If we're talking about parents, they wouldn't have the slightest idea of where to get their children involved in science. And then if you have young people who have an aptitude for the sciences, many of them, in theory, wouldn't know where to go to get more involved or to get training unless they go to one of the higher level, more affluent schools in their area. But I want to talk a little bit about mentoring because Art Nustal asked me a very, very important question, which was, how did you become Dr. Dunbar? How did you get here? And this ties together with my book project, The Engineers, A Western New York Basketball Story. I've talked about it on my other channels, and it actually ties into this channel as well, because part of the book is about mentoring. Part of it is about the fact that I set out to be a basketball player like a lot of young kids do, but I didn't realize until afterwards that my uncle had a history himself of playing basketball. So he knew a lot about basketball, he knew a lot about the sport, he knew a lot about the craft. But because I didn't know when I was playing, and well, you could say that maybe my mother didn't know to ask my uncle to come mentor me, I realized that I could have benefited from his skill set at that age. So, sports are often a microcosm of life. They're often a metaphor for life. The way that I became Dr. Dunbar is because one of my professors at my HBCU, Johnson C. Smith University, saw my potential. And that's the other thing. As I said on Art's stream, again, I'm going to leave the link in the description box below in case you want to go watch the whole thing. It's funny, when you do streams, you realize afterwards that there were things that you wanted to say, but in the flow of the conversation, you didn't say them. In any case, I learned how to become a student right there at my HBCU. For the first time in my life, I became a consistent A student. And one of the professors, I don't think she'll mind me shouting her out, Dr. Sutton Haywood, who was a no-nonsense professor, and she was tough on all of us, but she saw my potential and literally asked me in the spring, I think it was the spring of 1997, I'm dating myself, what are you doing this summer? And my intention was to simply go back to Buffalo and work security for another summer, and also to wait tables at a local lounge, because I did that the previous summer. Dr. Sutton Haywood said, no, you need to do something scientific this summer. Fill out this application for the McNair program and bring it back to me as soon as you can. So I did it, and I got in, and the rest is history. I got to do research for the first time for a summer. I got a little mini project that I had to work on every day and also give an oral presentation on at the end of the summer. And that was my first exposure to graduate research and the potential of getting my PhD. But I think the point of all of it is, or the net of it is that she saw something. And it was her identifying that I had the aptitude and the ability to be a scientist that made her pull my coat and say, no, you can't go back home and work security and wait tables at a local bar/lounge and get into who knows what. So she changed my life. She arguably helped my ascension into another social class. As I told Art on his panel, that's very, very significant also because there were no STEM professionals in my family on my mother's side, and I spent the majority of my childhood on my mother's side. And the closest thing I had in my bloodline was my cousin Thomas Strain. If you look way back in my library here, there's an interview with Dr. Strain, but that was over on my father's side, and I rarely saw him because of life circumstances. But the point is that someone else from outside my family had to pull me up, right? So mentoring counts, mentoring matters, and that's one of the reasons why I started this channel. It's to talk about Western blots and black holes and face masks and aerosols and artificial intelligence and machine learning and the litany of things that we talk about here. But I also wanted to promote visibility. I also wanted to be a symbol. kind of like the Batman. Because there aren't a lot of symbols, there aren't a lot of images of us, Black scientists, in the mainstream media and in pop culture. And as I said on Art's panel, you know, maybe someday I could become like a Neil deGrasse Tyson. There are also so many Black scientists that we don't know about. There are so many Black astronauts. There are quite a few Black astronauts. So many people don't know about Percy Julian. So many people don't know who Neil deGrasse Tyson is. So that's one of the reasons why I created this channel, was for visibility. So hey, please share this content, pass this on, disseminate this. But I also wanted to say mentoring matters. Being visible matters. So if you're a Black STEM professional and you're listening to this, make sure you get out there and let people see who you are. Let the young people see who you are, and talk about how you got where you are and what you did and who helped you. There are a bunch of things that I wish I had said on Art's panel, and perhaps we'll do a follow-up. But I'm going to stop this here. This is getting kind of long. But I just wanted to talk about the importance of I guess this would fall under a science story, and I guess this would fall under science education. Mentoring matters. The people in your ecosystem matter. The last thing I'll say is my graduate advisor at the University of Michigan, who did his undergraduate studies at MIT. That's another thing. My entire time growing up in Buffalo, in the ecosystem that I was in terms of my family and the church that we went to and just my circle, I'd never heard of MIT. So there are whole communities of people who have never heard of MIT. There are whole communities of people who don't know who Neil deGrasse Tyson is, who Percy Julian is, what the James Webb Telescope is, SpaceX, all those things. So there are a lot of people who just don't know. But my graduate advisor, one of the things I'll always remember about my graduate studies is that his father, he was Asian American, Japanese American. His father was a scientist. So, and he worked in a lab as a teen, and he had a patent, I think, by the time he was ready to start his undergraduate studies. So because he saw that, and he had that his father who he could model, he knew what to do when it was time to start his career. So that's just some food for thought. I'm going to stop this here. Please like, share, and subscribe. Definitely share. Definitely get this out there. If you want to throw something in the tip jar, that information is below in the description box. And please consider joining the Big Words LLC Newsletter. And look out for more live streams and pre-records. I really want to do a stream or a pre-record on kidney transplant and kidney donation. And there's much more tech stuff for us to get to. So everyone stay safe out there. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.